Oh man, that's really good. Welcome back, Nine World Chronicles audience. Go and get this thing muted. I think it should be alright. Okay. So I'm back today. I think I have a particularly good topic for us today to talk about. And as always, me versus Hollywood is a thing now. I don't know if Hollywood actually realizes I'm Adam, that I am consistently checking Hollywood over the nonsense that they put out in terms of our mythology, how they take mythological stories and churn out nonsense for no reason at all, other than they feel like they know better. We should get a class action lawsuit. Me versus Hollywood. It'll be me, whoever's listening right now, who's in with this rebellion against Hollywood's nonsense, and the guy down the street who likes what I'm doing. We can all get together and get a class action lawsuit to stop Hollywood from taking really good old classic stories and changing them and changing the characters. So today, we're back looking at, really the Clash of the Titans story that's kind of been represented. If you guys know the story of Perseus, it was a very influential mythology for myself because it really got me started on mythology. But yet and still, I rip on it because they lied in so many different areas. So today, I really wanted to get into who the central character of Perseus really was. Because it's really a story, like Clash of the Titans is really kind of a quick telling of Perseus' story. Who Perseus actually is. Perseus was known as a Greek hero. So there's a lot that they do right with Perseus. Obviously, I think there's a lot that they do wrong. I have some notes here because I really want to compare the two. I know the movie very well. I didn't know the mythology of Perseus as well. But now I'm kind of up to speed on it. So most of it's right that he was a son of Zeus and a mortal girl who was named Danae. She's a very beautiful girl. She happened to be the daughter of King Perseus, who was the king of Argos. All that stuff is very much correct. And Argos had a vision. Now, this may change the movie story for you as well. Because Argos has this, Perseus has this oracle. Oracles were very trusted in this time, who told him that a son of Danae would eventually kill him. And so, he's like, well, I don't want her to have any kids. That's what went down here. I don't know if it really changes the story for you, but I'm kind of like, well, maybe. All right. So anyway, in typical Greek story fashion, he's like, well, I'm gonna lock you up in a chamber. Like, you're about to get locked up. So he locks her up in this chamber, and because she's so beautiful, who of course is gonna find her? Who would find a maiden locked up in a bronze tower? Who would find her? Zeus. That's who would find her. And so Zeus finds Danae, turns himself into a shower of gold. Very impressive feat of magic, I might add there. Goes inside, has sex with the girl, intercourse as they call it, and leaves. Okay, now imagine this scenario. You're in jail. For all intents and purposes, Danae is in jail. She can't just go where she wants to go. Somebody with magical power shows up to hit it and then leaves, doesn't even bust you out of jail. Like, what's up with that, Zeus? You didn't. Why would you not bust her out of jail? She's living this horrible life. She's in jail. But you came down to have sex with her in the form of a shower of gold, which had to be very impressive to her. So, of course, she gets pregnant because Zeus gets everybody pregnant. And from that union, you will get Perseus, who she's able to hide in for 4 years. How she hid a growing baby like that who cried for 4 years, beyond me. But she does a great job of doing this. But finally, Perseus is figures out that she has this baby. He's like, oh, no, that baby's not getting me. Maybe they could have worked out something like, look, I'm going to let you guys live. I even love you, but he's going to kill me, so you guys got to live. You guys got to move away. Can't be living here, all right? Maybe it was something like that, okay? So he does this with her and leaves her with this baby. Of course, she is with child in the very famous Greek sense. Zeus always leaves these chicks with child. And eventually, Perseus finds out and he's like, okay, I'm not having it. What does he do? He takes her and the baby. I got a little image of it here. Takes her and the baby and he puts him in this chest, essentially. Sends her out to the sea. So very accurate what Hollywood is telling us. At this point, we're doing very, very good. And she gets rescued. Now, it doesn't show Zeus ever guiding them, but they get rescued. And they come to a small island, and they're rescued by King. It's Polydicus, who is the king. he is discovered by his brother, and they bring her on board. He rules a very small island kingdom. Seriphus is the name of the kingdom. So Perseus grows up here. Now the king, Polydictus, happens to like Danae. Still a good-looking woman, even though she's been locked up, probably wasn't getting a lot of sunlight, and has been locked in this chest. So he saves him, and he's a king, and he's like, so Danae, what's up with it? And Danae is like, no, I'm not interested in you at all. I've been with Zeus. That's all I know is Zeus. So because she's been with Zeus, she doesn't want any parts of this guy. And he's like, this started to be problematic for him. He's like, look, it's kind of a douchey thing to do, but he's like, I rescued you. What's up? She doesn't want to marry him. And she always has Perseus around, of course, as her protector. So what does he do? The first thing he says is, okay, let's get rid of this this Perseus character. So he sends him on a mission to go and get the Gorgon's head. So this is where it diverts from the mythology story that there was this mission. He fell in love with Andromeda, and he wanted to go save her, so he needed the Gorgon's head. Changes the mission. He's actually out pursuing the Gorgon's head right off the bat, and he gets a lot of help. Now, in the Hollywood telling, he gets help, through these other deities from at the direction of his father. Athena helps him, and Hermes helps him as well. Whether it's not so much shown in the mythology that that's the case, but they do offer him help. Hermes is down with him, Athena's down with him, and he gets some help, obviously, from the nymphs as well. And the nymphs are the one who actually give him his sandals, which have wings on them, right? And he gets his cloak of darkness, or the invisibility cloak, or is it the helmet? And he gets his cloak, which is an enchanted cloak as well. And it's actually Hermes who gives him his sword. And in mythology, it is described as a curved sword. It's how it's literally described. Very different from that Hollywood depiction there, but still in the house. So what he does is he goes out and he has to go get the Gorgon. You still have the reference to the Stygian witches, because they're the ones who tell him where to go get Medusa. I don't know why these Gorgons quickly turn on Medusa, but they absolutely turn on Medusa. And he goes over to Medusa's house. Now, he also uses the shield, just like they do in the depiction in the movie. However, in this depiction, whenever he has to turn his head, it's Athena who actually guides him. She is the one who sees through the shield and allows him to kill this Gorgon. So now that he's got this Gorgon's head, he's like, I can go back, get this guy off my mom's neck. And he's flying home. He's on his way because he's got shoes that allow him to fly. There's no mention of Pegasus at this point. That's something that's very important. He did not have Pegasus at this point. Oh, okay. So Pegasus comes in from the blood of the Gorgon's head. So he does have Pegasus at this point. But it wasn't early in the story before he gets Medusa. He gets Pegasus from the blood of the Gorgon. And cutting the Gorgon's head off, you can see he's kind of holding it willy-nilly there. He spills a lot of blood, and it creates lots of serpents. We see some of that depiction in the movie. They do show her blood creating some monsters. So that much is very true as well. And that's actually how he creates Pegasus. So he is riding on Pegasus. He passes past, what is the city of Joppa. And they've got, the famous part of the story where he's got Andromeda who's getting hemmed up. Her mom has insulted the goddess about her reference to the nymphs, and she's chained to a rock, about to get eaten by the Kraken. In the mythology version, it is simply a great dragon that is actually going to come and snatch her up. But still, basically that premise. Perseus sees her and reacts, instantly falls in love with Andromeda, makes a deal with the king, who is Cepheus, is the king, and says, hey, I'll rescue your daughter. I want her hand. So he rescues her, dips down, rescues her, and uses the Gorgon's head to cut the dragon's head off. So he's having a glamorous day. They actually have a wedding right there at Andromeda's home. They have a wedding right there, great ceremony. So while they're there, one of her old suitors shows up, and he's like, "No, you're stealing my betrothed. This is my lady to be." It was not Calibus. There was no mention of Calibus. I'm also very disappointed. I thought Calibus was a very cool character. Right? We all remember Calibus, like the horn-headed guy. Okay, so he doesn't exist, but a regular guy shows up, and he's got his army. He's like, hey, Perseus, this is my woman here. You stole her from me. And Perseus is like, yeah, whatever. Here's a Medusa head for you, and turns him to stone, and all of his supporters turn to stone as well. So they're done. So he's like, okay, come on, Medusa. Come on, Andromeda, let's go. I need to go save my mom. So they go over to where they go to the kingdom of this Cepheus, where his mom is at, and this king who sent him away has got her locked up and won't give her food unless she agrees to marry him. This is a very dirty tactic. But he rolls up, Perseus, and he's got Medusa's head. And he's like, "Hey, what's up? Where's my mom? You got her locked up? Bam, some Medusa head." So he uses Medusa's head again, and basically decimates them. And now he inherits his throne, but he doesn't want to take the throne of Acrisius because it's he murdered him essentially. So they finally go back and they establish a new kingdom for himself. It's Tyrene. It's an older kingdom that he establishes his kingship at. And while there, he goes out to some sporting games. He throws a discus, and he happens to hit on the head his grandfather Acrisius, thereby fulfilling the prophecy that his daughter's son would eventually kill him. So it comes all the way back to just trying to stay alive. You're Acrisius, you're King Acrisius. Like, I just want to live through this. I will get away, because by the time Perseus comes back, he's well known. So Acrisius doesn't even try to fight him. He abandoned his own kingdom, goes and lives in Thessaly, because he's like, I don't want any part of Perseus. Okay, I'm gonna stay away from you, stay away from me. But hey, they happen to be at the same sporting event, which you probably knew. Everybody went to this. They say everybody was going to be at the games. Everybody went to the games because there's nothing else to do. So they were all there, and now you're dead, and you fulfill the prophecy. The oracle is right. She should be paid the rest of her money in additional bonus. But that is the actual story of Perseus, who's not so dissimilar from what Hollywood does. They kind of mix the story around. That secondary Perseus gets a little odd because he doesn't want to take any help. He's like, I don't want to help you, God. You were getting help from every single god the entire way. I don't even want to hear anything about you not accepting help from gods. But not a lot of difference this time, Hollywood. You're almost right there, Hollywood. You did change Andromeda, which I never appreciate, but I already talked about that, so I'm not going back in there. You got a lot more help than you were given credit for, and it wasn't just Zeus. And everybody ignores the fact that Danae was in jail. Zeus came and had sex with her and still left her there. I'm the only person that's completely outraged by that move. But that's how it is sometimes when you're sitting where I am. As always, please like and click subscribe as we ask you to do, and watch more videos. I'll be back kind of breaking down each of these individual characters. I'm working on a Perseus right now, so I'll have that ready for you guys in a couple of days. As always, be well.